Starting.
Hi guys, so we're going to talk about Iran today. And Iran as a country, it seems very controversial. You know, it seems like it's a place that's oppressive to women. It's a landscape of war, and they have strange customs. But overall, it's a very beautiful country, has a very rich heritage, and they're very devout people. So I've consulted a lot of great books. I've consulted an Around travel guide by a company called Lonely Planet. And I actually found a guide called Culture Smart, the essential guide to customs and culture for the country of Iran. My human communications book also provided some great information. And I also consulted a website called Cultural Atlas. And lastly, a video by PBS called Women in Islam. So we're going to talk about a couple different things today. First off, some general cultural considerations. Then we're going to go over a little bit of self-presentation of those people and the kinesics. So general cultural considerations. So Culture Smart tells us that in Iran, the guest of a home, you are treated with the utmost respect. You are basically just considered the most important person in the home, and they're going to cater to you. Such as when you are eating food or having a meal in somebody's home who is Iranian, they're going to offer you a second helping. And you're supposed to say no, you're supposed to decline it, and they're going to keep offering it to you until you finally say, okay, I'd like it. And the reason being that, you know, you're a guest, and we're going to treat you with all that respect. And we're going to continue to offer you these things that we feel that you deserve as our guest. Also, for instance, you know, if you go and talk to a vendor, you ask to purchase an item, the vendor may say, oh, this costs nothing. No, don't worry about this. You don't have to pay me at all. But that doesn't actually mean that you shouldn't pay the vendor. It means that you're supposed to continue to insist to pay until the vendor allows you to pay. And what's behind this is you're so important to this vendor, this item, this is not worth you. You're worth so much more than this item, so this costs nothing. So that's the reason that they present themselves in that manner, is basically just showing you that you're the most important person to them. You're more important than their profits or their sales, even though you're still expected to pay. So the second point I wanted to talk about is self-presentation. So in Iran, I'm sure you know that a lot of women wear a hijab, which is going to be the cover, it's a scarf that covers their head and their neck. And they actually wear this for a lot of different reasons. Not only because of like maybe a government mandate, but they also wear it for religious reasons, and they actually also wear it just for personal reasons. There's a lot of Iranian women who state that they feel more comfortable and more secure with that scarf on, even though it's not really protecting against anything, it's just the fabric, but they just feel more secure and safe while wearing that hijab. And the culture is such that if you are visiting and you're a woman, then you actually are expected to wear a headscarf to cover your head. Again, it's, you know, it's respectful of that culture. Now, another thing in terms of self-presentation, Cultural Atlas tells us that you should not wear your shoes if a host is also not wearing their shoes. And especially if you're not wearing your shoes, don't show the soles of your feet. Very, very, it's very disrespectful. Also, something interesting about how they present themselves is the color blue. You know, different colors have different connotations in that culture. And so, for instance, whereas we might some cultures associate blue with the feeling of joy, some cultures associate it with pride. In Iran, the color of blue is actually associated with things that are negative. So you probably don't want to wear something blue. Finally, I wanted to talk about the kinesics, which is, you know, how we act, the physical body language that we use. For instance, in America, a thumbs up is, hey, good job, go for it. But in Iran, a thumbs up is actually considered an offensive gesture. So we don't want to use that because that's going to be, insulting to people. Another thing interesting, again, Cultural Atlas, that great website tells us about this, is you're actually not supposed to use your left hand for things such as shaking hands or gesturing or even eating, because your left hand is considered unclean. Your right hand is going to be the hand that is used for those things such as speaking, eating, and presenting. So for instance, if you extended your left hand to shake somebody's hand, that would actually be considered very insulting, because again, the left hand is an unclean appendage. And then also another interesting thing, and we learned this from the Iran travel guide, is that you're actually not supposed to shake hands with people that are in opposite sex. So women shake hands with women, men shake hands with men. And if you're a man, you can shake hands with a woman only if she offers you her hand. So if she doesn't offer you her hand, you don't shake her hand. There's a lot of things in the Iranian culture that are delineated by sex. So, overall, the Iranians can be considered kind of conservative, and we don't necessarily understand the reasons that they make the choices that they do. But overall, they're actually a very welcoming culture. They may have their conservative views, but they love to have guests. They love to invite you into their home. Again, those cultural practices of offering you food even though you might say no. This is all about making you feel welcome as a guest. So they're friendly. They like to share their way of life with outsiders. I really hope that I have provided some great insight to you about the culture of Iran. As you know, they're a very interesting culture that we have not experienced very much, and I hope this has been informative. Thank you very much.